Hi guys, good evening, and welcome back once again to the EdWord. I'm your host Eddie, and in tonight's video I'll be discussing what I thought of the latest and very good episode of Star Trek Discovery, which dropped yesterday, but unfortunately I was super busy at work all day yesterday, and immediately after work went to go watch the amazing film that is Spider-Man No Way Home. I just did a film review for it last night. You can check it out right over here somewhere or down here, wherever the next video is. Don't watch unless you've seen it, because obviously I talk about massive spoilers. But we're not here to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home, but you should definitely go see it. It's an excellent film. We're here to talk about the latest episode of Star Trek Discovery and how much I enjoyed it and what I think of some of those interesting revelations. Okay, so like most of my episode reviews, obviously, if you're not caught up on Discovery by this episode or the last, don't keep watching or listening, as I will be discussing spoilers. That being said, you have been warned. Let's jump right back into it. First and foremost, interesting revelation we got that the anomaly, or the DMA as they refer to it, is actually not a natural phenomenon or a freak of nature, but it's actually a hand-built not a mechanism, but it was something that was artificially created by somebody. I loved the name drops and references that the Admiral had at the beginning of the episode. He mentioned the Metrons, the Q continuum, and what was the other one? The Metrons, and oh god, there was another name there. From Next Generation and Deep Space Nine. The Arconins, that's it, the Arconins. I love the references and name drops that they made. So they were clearly referring to super advanced civilizations, but now it seems like none of them could have done it, mostly because none of them had a real knack for genocide, at least not universal genocide. Like, they may have destroyed each other, but not everybody else. So whoever made this might be the result of creating something that was never meant to exist in the first place, and now it accidentally got loose and it's doing what they created it to, but they never meant to unleash it upon the galaxy, but that's exactly what it's doing. Or somebody is intentionally and maliciously destroying entire planets with extreme prejudice. So now that we know more about the anomaly, the more interesting the story gets. And speaking of interesting stories, I liked how we had a classic Star Trek story where we had them go on a rescue mission, evacuate a planet that was or an asteroid that was colonized, that was doomed because of the anomaly, and they rescue some prisoners. Now, at first, I thought they were going to rescue some really scary, possibly violent offenders, but then it sounds like they were just people with all minor, non-violent offenses who were wrongly jailed for the pettiest little crimes that they committed. And it sounds like it was mostly because of the super unjust society that this colony was, apparently. Except the one guy who did admit to killing someone, and rather unjustly too. You know, the person he killed took him in, gave him food, a place to sleep, and then he tried robbing the guy while he was sleeping. Guy wakes up, they struggle, he kills him, and he leaves the child an orphan. And then he doesn't know that he steals something that was actually a family heirloom. But then he feels so bad about it, he's resigned himself to his fate, to accept his decision to stay on this asteroid and die, knowing an anomaly is heading this way and it's going to destroy it. And it led to that classic argument or conflict that we've seen on Star Trek 1,000 times. Where do we respect somebody's decision when it comes to the sanctity of life, or at least their own life? Or where do we say, no, that's unacceptable, you're coming with us? You know, we've seen this in countless episodes all over the franchise and other iterations of Star Trek. This question of humanity, and it's like, where do we step back and say it's none of our business, it's your business? Or do we interfere and say, no, here's what's going to happen? And ultimately, they respected his decision, left him behind. But I felt so bad for Book. You could see how badly he wanted to bring this guy back with him, because he did not want to relive the feeling of leaving somebody on a doomed planet, because he, of all people, knows exactly what that feels like. So hats off to Book for trying to rescue this guy, but the guy had made up his mind. I was also excited to see that he was an actor I personally last saw in one of the latest shows I've been watching as well, and his character hasn't been on in a couple years, but he was a supporting recurring character in Fear the Walking Dead. I was like, oh, it's that guy. Cool. Nice to see he's working again. Maybe he's done stuff since then too, and I just haven't seen it. But it was exciting to see him in this episode, and I love the fact that of all the inmates, he was the one they primarily focused on because he had the most humane story and the most conflicting, compelling reason for wanting to stay. I mean, his death did kind of serve a purpose. He did keep that family heirloom safe and sound all these years, gave it to Michael, who then fittingly and conveniently gave it to the girl who is now grown up and gave her back her literal family tree thing. I also really enjoyed how David Cronenberg's character got to counsel the counselor, where, poor Hugh has to be there for everybody, but somebody has to remind him, Hugh, you got to take care of yourself too, dude. And I think that's something that many, many of us have forgotten to do during this past year. We are so busy thinking about and concerned for others, we almost forget to take care of ourselves, to take a minute and just check in with ourselves. And then by doing that, we become more clear-headed, and then we can resume taking care of everybody else. I think parents and caretakers can especially have this apply to them, or bosses and employers and whatnot, So I really loved that scene, that really awesome character on character scene where Cronenberg was telling Hugh, you got to take care of yourself, man. And I liked that. I also liked his boyfriend's story, Stamets' story, with the abrasive scientist who got Saru to roar at him to let off some steam. I liked that. And the return of Tig Notaro's character, the engineer, the sassy engineer. God, it was great to see her again. We haven't seen her yet this season, but I'm glad they finally brought her back for this episode. She was great, so I'm happy to see her again. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this episode review. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did. This might have been one of their best episodes of this season yet. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the next one offers us. So have a great rest of your night. Thanks for watching. Sorry for the delay. It's been a long, busy week, and I had Spider-Man last night, but now I'm back on track with Star Trek. So have a great rest of your night, and don't forget, Star Trek Discovery drops new episodes every Thursday on Paramount Plus. Have a good one, everybody. Thanks for stopping by, and of course, until next time, live long and prosper.